So the print I want to talk about today is an older print. One of the first I ever did in the mokuhanga style. And it's titled, "What Does It Mean? The World in a Fox's Tale." And it is such an enigmatic statement, and unsure of where it came from. I had written this very short story about a fox, and it inspired the text. The image came of its own, and they seemed to go together. I'm going to read the text of this story and not over-explain the words and their meanings, because that is not the point of the text. The text is not really to understand in any sort of mental capacity. It's meant more of understanding in the spirit sense. So here is the story. It's called The Fox's Lament. Why must I be as I am? What wells inside me that I must deceive, capture, and eat rabbits and the like? These desires force me to a loneliness and an isolation. To those like me whose desires I share, but I do not want it. Do all foxes feel this way, or is it only me? Can I change my heart? Can I beat back the desires of my being? Why, this is unfair. Why do I suffer? And the fox bent over in confusion and pain as his heart stretched and broke into 1,000 tiny pieces. And he let out a great cry and passed out. That night he dreamed. He dreamed of himself roaming the countryside. The ground he touched was death, as was the river he drank from. He became weak and utterly alone. Beneath him was a burrow, and out came a rabbit with very long ears that he wore up in a turban. The fox felt a heat in his heart and an ache in his gut. Bite him, he thought. No, he thought again. Here I am, breaking in two. And the two voices warred in his mind as the rabbit looked on, curious, and then concerned. Finally, leaning close, the rabbit took the fox's jaw and leaned even closer, his head in the fox's mouth. "Come out," he whispered. "How dare he?" thought the fox. "Speak into my mouth. Speak to my face, you. Give me your respect. I demand it." Then, out of his mouth climbed a rabbit. The long-eared rabbit carefully helped him out. "Oh, my prince, thank you. I had lost my way." The rabbit prince nodded. Then another rabbit emerged, and another, then another, until the countryside was indeed full. Then a small voice, "May I come too? Please?" "Oh, yes," the prince replied, and a fox climbed out. He was golden orange, shining. The dirty, bloody fox was embarrassed. "I'm so embarrassed. Let me run. I'm a coward. Let me go." But the golden fox replied, "No, I am yours," and hugged him. "See my tail. In it is the world." And as he spoke, it grew great and shining until it was the land and the sky. It was too great a sight for the fox, and tears welled in his eyes. "I mustn't cry." "Stop." The golden fox smiled. and then, with such a quickness, jumped back down the fox's throat. The land and all the rabbits following, riding on the fox's tail, until there was nothing, nothingness, except for him, the fox, and the rabbit prince, whose ears had come undone, and floated as if in water around them both. The fox asked, "What does it mean? The world in a fox's tail?" The prince smiled. And just then the fox awoke, with a start. It was dawn. The sun was rising, and he was at peace. So, it's just a question. What does it mean, the world in a fox's tail? And it's not an answer that is easy to speak about. But it does make me smile.